IMAX login confirmed.
Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
the Lodgecast experience.
Warning, warning, dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
The Lodgecast is a little podcast where we watch weird movies, so you don't have to.
The Lodgecast, baby.
Lodgecast, gonna smoke grass. Lodgecast, listen movie pass. Lodgecast,
We're gonna watch some crap.
Lodgecast.
And then the Lodge Master chats.
With Lucas and Bishki.
Episode 162, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Hello and welcome to a prestigious as fuck edition of the Lodgecast. I'm your Lodge Master. With me as always and back from the COVID dungeon is Brother Bishki.
Back from the dead.
And in the way back, we got Brother LT.
Lodgecast, they flow freely here, son.
And in this supersized edition, we got Lodge Mistress Millie.
So happy to be here.
Sister May.
Hello, hello.
And Brother Nathan.
What's up, y'all? What's up, all?
The edge is jam-packed for Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon. And much like when we visited, visited Scorsese with The Irishman,
Yeah.
Lucas is whacked all the way in the back.
Yeah.
But
Can you hear me in the back?
we brought our giant stuffed Ray dog, our mascot, to comfort him back there. And hopefully that's providing a little bit of warmth.
It's very cozy and plushy.
Yeah.
Just so you know, dear listener, this movie today is 3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
We are right about at 4 p.m. We're going to be getting home tonight, maybe around 10 p.m.
This is like a shift at the factory.
So we're just we're giving our Sunday to you, to your earbuds.
the
today.
ultra
Full
Scorsese.
It's a full day.
Of Scorsese.
I mean, it's totally bold to come out with
A full daisy of
325.
Scorsese.
Wow.
It's his
Is there an
Heaven's Gate.
intermission?
There should be.
Yeah, like as an audience member, we're gonna, we got to sit through that. Yeah,
The length of 2 movies.
Does he think about? I'm sure the 3-hour cut was better than his 6-hour cut, right? Like,
He's
this
going
is-
to have to
this is
pick his
coming along.
bathroom break strategically.
And
I'm pounding a
But these are fat.
iced coffee right now.
I think that's
I
smart.
do that.
And much like the strange bedfellows that Barbenheimer made, there's going to be a bunch of Taylor Swift heads in there, some Swifties, because the Eras tour is hitting Burbank hard on the weekends.
Oh, you guys have been hearing it, right? Like we've gone
In
to
the
other
hallways.
we've gone to other
Oh, really?
yeah,
Yeah,
other
I can hear
movies,
it.
and in the hallway I heard this chanting, and it was they was singing along
And
to a
stomping.
chorus.
That's
Oh,
But I could hear the
amazing.
voices and not the screen so much. It was really spooky.
that's not going to go well
That was
with
spooky.
Whoa.
today's film. Today's film is
Might
going to
be
be very heavy, very serious.
Yeah.
somber. Yeah.
Somber.
But before we get into it, like, where are our Irishman phasers set to? Like, because that was a controversial episode. We all, except for Brother Dave, pretty much tanked it.
And we whacked Brother Dave after that. He's never heard from him
Whacked
again.
him, yeah.
And Nate, I was looking on your Letterboxd.
Oh my
Not
God.
logged. Not logged. So I don't know if you're
Not logged.
You're in witness protection.
Maybe I
or
just
what?
I just pulled myself out of the fight for that. But like I was thinking about just Irishman today, not
Yes.
my whole relationship
sure,
with Marty, you
sure,
know,
sure.
which we ask each other.
I
that
know,
before
which we
go
should
into
be
this.
talking about.
Now I'm just like I just see Irishman sitting there, you know, and so looking back on that, I mean, we're talking about the effects too, right? We had such a problem with those
Yeah.
effects. Which
Yeah.
is this going to have some? Of
I don't
that?
think there
Tom Poole
is there De Niro
fuckery?
de-aging. I don't know.
No, there's no de-aging in this one.
Thank God.
But The Irishman was odd because it was like Scorsese's wheelhouse, which he should have mastered, and it should have been
nailed it.
totally triumphant and just like exhilarating and
Totally.
riveting and
Should've been a flex.
mesmerizing and
Should've been a flex.
devastating. Instead, it seemed like an acting workshop where you're like finding the scene, you know, but you're
But here's the
recording
thing.
That one was like 3 hours.
Here's the thing. Most of the cinematic world thinks he did nail it, or they're tricked into thinking he did.
Yeah,
Well, let's
everyone
not get
hated
stuck
it.
on the Irish.
Wait, no.
No,
I have a point. I have a point. The point is, you may have listened to that episode and you're like, these yahoos don't know shit about Scorsese. My favorite movie is After Hours by Martin Scorsese. Lucas's favorite
that's right.
movie is Last Temptation of Christ by Scorsese.
Truth.
Bishki's fucking stupid favorite movie is Silence by Martin Scorsese.
Wait, it's favorite.
No, Taxi Driver is definitely in my top.
Well, another Scorsese. So there you go. So we're not anti-Scorsese. We get it.
He's the greatest living.
But it's the
American
sunk cost fallacy where people
Exactly,
spend
Lucas.
like 3.5
Sunk cost.
hours of their day or however
Yes.
long they can't convince themselves they were not blown away
Well,
by the images.
three and a half-
Is that what it is?
Like,
3.5 hours of their day and 40 years of their life spent worshiping at the altar.
It's like a Stockholm
They
syndrome.
can't
Is
believe
what
that
you
he
said?
would ever make a bad movie.
Yeah.
And that's how The Irishman kind of snuck
I
in.
think that's how the critics were. I mean, the critics hated it and they gave it 4 stars. You know what I mean?
But today's different. And Lodge Mistress, what's your Scorsese platform? Like, are you going in with your arms crossed? Or are you open about this?
He's good, right? But
He's a talented creative,
my
right?
fave, in general.
Sure.
So, and I know it's going to be. I'm very. I mean, I do know.
He historically
Yeah.
hasn't had a lot of ladies doing a lot
No,
of
and
business
that's
in
kind
his
of
films.
right, exactly.
Mhm.
But I do like the story that we're about to go see. I mean,
Right.
I don't know about but it is a very
You enjoy it. It's fun.
interesting. A very interesting sort of piece of history in America. So, I mean, I do have a bit of an arms cross because I feel like I'm going to be depressed, but I'm also think it's going to be visually stunning.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that.
Sister May, what are you going in with?
I'm going in with an open mind.
Yeah.
Are you an Irishman super freak by any chance? Are we
I
offending
did
you?
not watch it.
You're like,
There it is, folks.
clips
The only
of
way
it.
to
watched it
win.
over my shoulder.
That's my question. Did those people that liked it actually watch the whole thing and engage?
Ooh.
We were
Or
debating
did
that.
they
You
just
know,
dip in and were like, oh yeah, he's
Yeah,
doing
this is
his-
good. This
his stuff.
appears.
that's when
Yeah.
everyone
Good.
was streaming, so
This
we
is
had
what
no
I
idea.
expected.
Yeah.
We sat in the theater the whole way through. We did not get up.
You were
The
at the
Scorsese
Egyptian
expert
theater, which
behind
is
us
reopened.
talking through the whole movie about like every character on screen.
Anyway,
Oh yeah, that we're gonna see some of that culture today when they're in there. We
this
got all the
isn't
film
about
geeks.
the
in there.
Irishman.
Irishman aside, I'm very excited to see this movie.
Oh, good.
Oh, bitch.
This is prestige. We're getting out of the shit. We're getting away from Expendables 4. We're getting into the good part of cinema.
Which doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to stay in the prestige mode, but it's here. Prestige season is here.
Dawned on
Yeah.
us.
We're still going to have your exorcists. We're still going to have your bullshit.
But we're going to get some nourishment here and there.
Finally.
Which we need.
And Bishki, we're so happy to have you back. You
Yes, welcome back, Bishy.
Welcome back
Yeah.
to life.
you
Bish.
did not need to see Saw X and its eye trauma that it held with
Yeah,
it.
we fell on that grenade.
Yeah,
guys.
no.
It's coming out.
2 weeks down, but I'm testing negative. I feel good. And
You ready to climb those steps?
I'm ready to climb those steps.
It's IMAX, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah. And I got really good seats.
Prestige
Really
IMAX.
good front and center seats. I mean, not front, but
First row.
Tip of the spear.
And I have a little announcement to make. In the past, I've normally taken a little THC edible, but I
Sure.
was
Yeah.
worried that was gonna knock me out
Yeah.
today.
slow you down,
Yeah.
slow you down.
So I switched it up and I took a little tiny microdose of psilocybin edible. So I'm gonna have just a tiny bit like
What is
visual
it gonna
enhancement,
do?
like
Jesus.
audio enhancement.
It's gonna all
know what
burn off
that'll
in the
do?
trailers.
It'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm sure.
I've got my passport, my train ticket stamped to Fairfax, Oklahoma, where the story takes place.
Yes.
Giddy up,
Yes.
partners.
Yes.
Let's go to Scorsese Town.
Love and light, y'all.
Love and light, yo.
Flower Moon on shrooms. Let's do this.
I spoke to the man down at the tracks, and I asked him how he done got mad. He said, "Look here, Junior, don't you be so happy. And for heaven's sake, don't you be so sad. devastating.
We are back after 3.5 hours in the IMAX. And let me tell you, that shit was hot in there. It was
stifling.
hot.
It was too hot.
And
Unbelievable.
on record for me, the hottest, most miserable theatrical experience has always been Paul Thomas Anderson's The Master.
I was there
No
in the
doubt.
Cinerama Dome.
In
No
the
doubt.
dome.
No doubt.
You're talking sweat.
and
pitting out.
just
I had to roll my pant legs up on that one.
Me
You-
too,
you're-
Lucas. Me too.
we were passing out, and I'm not going to say this was that bad,
It
but
wasn't.
it was
No.
bringing up memories of that.
Agreed.
And it was bad enough. You know, I don't get up and walk out of movies for any reason unless it's like a medical emergency. But
A medical Coca-Cola emergency.
Yeah.
I did get a refill.
Yeah,
but
you did.
I went out there and there were like 3 managers just like shooting the shit outside of the IMAX screen. And I was like, you guys, it's terrible in there. We need air conditioning.
You said it to him?
Yes.
Thank you.
I was
But
like,
nothing changed.
and well, this is what she said to me. This is what the one with like the most regal looking AMC shirt on.
yeah.
Highest ranking.
The highest ranking member for
It was
sure.
pleated. Yeah.
It was a little pleated. She said, sir, I was agitated. So she was like, sir, there is an issue with the IMAX screen where the air conditioning is not working. We have a technician on the way.
She gave you a bunch.
And
of
I
stuff.
was
Whoa.
like, it is borderline criminal in there. And she said, sir, if you no longer want to watch the movie, we can give you a refund. And I wanted to say, that's not my issue. The issue is that I do want to continue watching the movie in air-conditioned
Well, you
peace.
should have asked for a paper fan.
Oh
God.
man, they need
An
AMC,
AMC.
fans.
I kind of
fan.
thought the heat fit the movie, but
it did.
No, I mean,
I thought I was tripping because when I walked in, I suddenly couldn't breathe, and I was like, "Uh-oh, this is a bad idea. Like, what's
like
happening to
humid.
me?" And then when I sat down, I turned to Lodge Master. I was like, "Is it just me, or is it
Yes.
hot in here?" And he's like, "Yes." And I was like, "Okay,
No.
thank God."
I tried to lean into it too. You know, it's a dusty film.
Yeah.
Guys, we're out on
But-
the prairie there.
And there's 3 elevators in the Burbank 16. 2 of them are out of commission right now. So
It's rough today.
That was a bad omen.
But
man. That was a
Lucas
bad
and I
omen.
were hatching some conspiracy theories that the Swifties were rerouting the air conditioning
Yeah.
so that they could
Airflow.
they
with
could
their
fucking-
buckets, with their popcorn buckets, they're,
Exactly.
like knocking it in there.
You hit the dead bullseye.
Maybe they are like maybe it's been overcranked because of these hot
dance-a-thon?
I mean, it gets hot in there. It must get really hot.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So maybe
you don't
stuff's
want-
overcranking and
you don't want
ours
kids
got busted.
passing out.
But it's true. There was a few movie theater set scenes in this movie, and I'm like, Robert De Niro didn't have air conditioning in this fucking scene.
They were sweating a lot.
Yeah, Oklahoma's
Yeah,
hot.
like Leo is sweating in the brows
He had
almost the whole
flies
time.
on him.
All right, before we get into what we witnessed,
What's that shot?
Rotten Tomatoes, based on David Grann's broadly lauded best-selling book,
broadly lauded.
Killers of the Flower Moon, is set in the 1920s Oklahoma and depicts the serial murder of members of the oil-wealthy Osage Nation, a string of brutal crimes that came to be known as the Reign of Terror. Period.
Wow.
That's it.
Concise,
People know what they're
unlike
getting.
the movie.
Or they know who's in it.
The
who directed
August
it.
Osage County. There,
Has anybody read the book?
No.
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 So we're just going in just for the movie. That is what our knowledge is.
Yeah, and I think that's fine because this movie's like a quarter of the length of the book, so
It's
it pretty much
so long.
it covers like if you put out the audiobook, I think it's like a 12-hour audiobook.
Oh.
So we just watched
true
like,
crime,
yeah.
true
Huge
true
portion.
history.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, Leo is loving uglying himself up a little bit. He's got
man.
he's got some prosthetic teeth.
He's got those
What
teeth.
did, what did people think?
He's got
of-
those
Yeah, like,
Oscar
what did people
winning
think?
dentures that Bohemian Rhapsody had.
when they
it
first saw
changes
him.
the shape of his face.
It's the bulldog from Godfather, Marlon Brando.
I thought it was like that emoji filter
Yes,
that goes
yes.
over your
Yeah.
face.
That's exactly
making
what
him
I
frown,
thought, Nathan.
making him frown. He has his smile kind of
You
cuts
also
back in,
reminded me
but
of
when he
Sling
runs his
Blade.
hand over his face, you see that little frowny.
Yes, with a side of Sling Blade. Now,
That was- yeah.
ladies in the Edge, what do you guys
let's hear
think of heartthrob Leo in this film?
He comes out of the saloon doors.
I kept thinking that he's Leonardo Grumpy Cat.
Yes.
It's a complete
Leonardo
frown.
Grumpy Cat. Yeah, no, I did not think he was handsome, and she thought he was handsome. So I was like, well, why not just let him have his own teeth? Age has done enough to Leo where he's kind of
Yeah.
uglied up. I'm
Ooh,
sorry. I'm sorry.
Shit.
Oh,
Claws are out
he's-
tonight.
Kitten's got
He's a
claws.
little wrinkled and aged.
So,
He's pockmarked.
and he's, so he didn't need the teeth, but I mean, sure.
But
why
it helped
not?
him get into it.
Yeah.
At first, well, let's not get off the teeth too quickly. At first, I'm like, oh, though, he's got the ghoul teeth in. He's got,
Yeah.
Right. And they were ghoul teeth.
But on second look, it might have been his teeth with
No.
a little bit of the tar or whatever they do.
No
to dirt.
way.
Not a
Because
No way.
Because wouldn't he be speaking like way off?
He was. He was
They were all
speaking way off.
crooked. Yeah, no way.
They must be
And
like,
that
it was
underbite
thinner.
was
They were
pronounced.
thinner dentures he had there.
He
I mean,
was,
they were effective.
He was
I still have a
loving
theory.
just playing in those dentures. And we got Robbie De Niro, Bobby. Hey, Bobby.
Hey, Bobby.
Oh, Bobby.
Two heavyweights, man.
Two huge
Yeah.
heavyweights.
Two Scorsese heavyweights.
Yeah.
He's just shriveling in on himself now. I mean, I don't know that his performance was really shrunk. I thought he was kind of
What's telling
projecting
is
that he was innocent.
On Instagram, I've seen set photos where De Niro's got like a medical orthopedic cane that he needs to walk with.
Wow.
But in every
In real
scene,
life,
he
yeah.
had no cane. So he was even walking upstairs without a cane.
That stair
But he
scene.
looked uncomfortable.
He
Yeah.
did.
Didn't he look kind of scrouchy?
I was
Yeah.
like, at this point, you're like character decision or ancient age, or both. You
But
know?
no de-aging, thankfully.
Thankfully.
He's
Yes.
still charismatic.
Yeah,
through
yeah,
the
yeah.
eyes. It's all coming through.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a de-aged Crispin Glover in the movie?
In this movie?
Or was that a guy that just looked like Crispin Glover?
What?
I didn't,
I didn't
are
see
you
any.
talking
I didn't
about?
see any,
Was that
like,
the
Tom
All the
mushrooms?
budget for Crispin.
Oh yeah, the mushrooms. Okay, so how did the psilocybin hit
Give us
you?
anything.
It was fine. It was only like 250 milligrams.
Just
so
some light
it was
Crispin
just-
Glover
It
hallucinations.
was basically like real D,
So you saw-
3D, like the first Avatar in
Sure.
2009. It was kind of like that.
It was
Sure.
jumping out at you a little.
Tiny bit.
So you're used to Leonardo DiCaprio being the hero. And in this movie, he is not the hero. Decidedly not. This movie is light on heroes. But it is strange to expect that and to cut him so much slack and have him be playing this character. And it reminds me that he's wanted to play H.H. Holmes, the devil in the White City, American mass murderer. He's been wanting to play him for so long, and it's just never worked out. And he finally kind of gets to do it in
He
this.
just wants to play like all bad.
He wants to be the bad boy. And what did you guys think of seeing Leo in a role like this?
I mean, I kind of like him as dumbed down a little bit and
Dumbed way down.
as sort of like
He is,
racked with guilt and just not like. I kind of like this performance of him. I think it's good for, just sort of like the Howard Hughes one, like
right.
that kind of Leo. I was like, no,
J. Edgar,
miscast.
Forget J.
bad,
Edgar
bad,
over
bad.
there.
Yeah, J. Edgar. No,
He can be kind of stiff, and his delivery is kind of stiff. But this one was more of a character than he's done, in other films.
Yeah, he was clearly loving it.
I kept having problems because he reminded me of Rick Dalton on Bounty Law, the movie within a
He has
movie
a
of
tick. He has
Tarantino's
like a
Once
tick.
Upon a Time in Hollywood. So I thought Tarantino was directing this movie at certain portions, especially when he was arguing. It was like, is this Bounty Law with Rick Dalton?
Gets a little shouty.
What do we think of what is the name of the actress?
Lily Gladstone.
Lily
Lily.
Gladstone.
Fantastic.
What do we think about her?
Amazing.
Fantastic.
was
I
good.
think she's good. I thought a little bit of a bait and switch with the trailer, looking like she's
Yeah.
active. Let's just. I don't want to spoil it. I'm going to spoil it right now. that
We are going to
We're gonna
see.
spoil
Yeah.
it.
Waste her. It's
she's
terrible.
sickly, through this whole film.
That's-
and that's always a bummer.
that's
when you
my
come for a
issue.
Performance.
Yeah, for me, the movie should have been told entirely through her POV. It should have been like a remake of Gaslight or something.
Yeah. And,
Yes.
And it would have been way more
She needs to
tense
be
and
proactive
crazy,
in it,
and you
too.
could have really played off it much more. But the movie kind of has a point of view problem, and it's a bit of a mess.
Here's
Yeah.
my issue with that is exactly it's the Barbie issue where it's not her movie. You know,
there's been a lot of press.
We're
about her
focusing on the
performance.
bumbling killers throughout. Well,
Way too much.
Well, she
Way
is
too
just
much.
fucking wasting away in the bed.
I would say in the first 2/3, it's the three of theirs movie. But I by the last
2/3 is pretty generous.
But by the last hour and change,
the first feature film length, we'll just say that.
Yeah.
I thought it was diminishing returns as it went on. Like
I looked at my watch 2 hours in, and we had 90 more minutes
Yep,
to go.
that's exactly when
yeah.
Millie thought I was reaching over to hold her hand. God bless you, but it was just too hot for skin-on-skin contact. I was gesturing toward her iWatch or whatever it's
You just
called.
imagine that thermostat, where it gets up to the top and it just blows.
And she showed me, and because here's the thing. I'm going to go on a bit of a rant, and feel free to jump in and cut me off whenever you want. But it was a bit dispiriting because I was also watching it through what I perceived to be the lodge mistress's eyes, where it was so dark-hearted for so long. You're just watching these guys run roughshod over these poor people, killing off this entire family. You're like, what the fuck am I watching? What am I even watching? And the point of view is from the killers.
Yeah, they're trying to get you to sympathize with Leo when he's crying about his dead kid? Question mark.
So when I reached over and tried to tap on that watch and saw that it was an hour and a half left, that's exactly when Jesse Plemons, my boy,
showed up
to start laying down the fucking law.
And I was like wishing I could just project Bishke onto Plemons, 'cause, like that was like Brother Bishke on screen.
Brother Bishke coming in and just fucking laying waste to these fools.
It'd be an honor to be Plemons, yeah.
But here's the thing, and I also have to just shoehorn this in. Bishke, Jesse Plemons is so good on Breaking Bad. Someday you are gonna, fucking love it.
It's never gonna get.
I like Plemons from a lot of stuff, so I know Plemons.
He's so good. But anyway,
yeah, we could have used an intermission at the Plemons point.
Yes, the Plemons point.
That would have been a good.
I was begging. I thought Lily Gladstone was going to stagger out of bed and be like, "No, I will speak to him now."
Here's the thing,
and then the shit would pick up, but it was like, nope.
There's a couple of moments like that.
We're going to talk on Friday.
She says in her delirium, she's having visions. She's seeing an owl, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I want to, the man with the hat is here. I want to speak to the man with the hat. And Leo's like, what are you talking about? And then you see the fucking outline of him at the door with the hat. Knock, knock, knock. Intermission. Let us go to the bathroom.
Please.
Yeah.
So
perfect spot for it.
That would have been perfect.
That's the perfect spot for it. But alas, it didn't.
Digital projectors probably can't do that.
Well, they just do the Gone with the Wind, sweeping music.
Oh,
with
right.
intermission.
The ArcLight did it for the Hateful
Great.
Eight. I was
Yes,
there for
exactly.
that road
Yeah,
show.
I was. They did it. Yeah, it was great.
That was film.
But here's my
Okay,
thing.
anyway, go ahead.
The movie, any movie, would have a pacing problem when one of your main characters is just in bed with their eyes rolling back in their head for most of the runtime.
It's a bummer.
Yes.
That's a tough
bummer.
That's tough to overcome.
Well, that's typically the end of Act 2 in a 90-minute movie.
Right.
So it could work if you just cut this shit down.
But with and we will get to that. But when Plemons shows up, it was a huge burst
Yes,
of
for me too.
of
Yes.
potential.
Yes.
Of potential. Because what we needed then, and Bishke, I'll let you speak. I'll let you finish.
Let's start.
Let me start.
What, yeah, let me go ahead. Go ahead. I'll pick back up.
Okay, because we can't start at Plemons. We got to start with the first 2.5 hours
Listen,
of this movie.
anybody listening to this, this is going to be nominated for everything. Go see this fucking movie.
Go see it. It's going to be nominated for everything, as it should be. The first 2 hours of this movie, I was riveted. I think the courtship of Leo and Lily Gladstone was amazing.
We've never seen anything like that before, really.
And it's in Marty's wheelhouse to do a guilt-ridden De Niro and DiCaprio. It's fascinating to watch. It's you kind of get the punishment in that first 2 hours of their souls because they're just killing one family member after another, and you don't quite know that Leo's totally in on it until a little while in. But I mean, the production design, you're just in this world. For me, I don't know. Maybe other
But
people were just
Bishki, I
checked
gotta
out.
point out, I knew DiCaprio was in on it from the moment he put a sack over his head and like robbed them of jewels and then lost them all in a night.
That we know.
Yeah, because they were showing him doing some dirty deeds.
No, you.
That's you giving him a little bit of leeway because he's Leo. It's Leo leeway.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's bad to the bone.
But this is like I was in 1920s Oklahoma. This is like
No, the production value is
period
$200
piece
million.
done.
You could mute this and just watch it, and you will coast for almost a feature-length film, which is incredible.
So the punishment that maybe Lodge Master and Millie were feeling for the first half, I was not.
I wasn't feeling punishment at all. I'm saying it's decreasing value as it goes. So the first hour and a half I'm in, I'm a little confused as to the point of view, but I'm like, it's going to work itself out. And then when we do get to Plemons, I'm like, okay, here's the big burst of catharsis where we round up these fools. I was like, where have I felt this in real? I was like connecting in real life somehow. And I'm like, wait, I've never been anywhere near a situation like this.
Got a posse together.
But I'm like, it's fucking Trump. It's De Niro is Trump, and we're finally rounding up these fucking scumbags, throwing them in the frying pan, and pressing down the fucking spatula on these fools. That's what I wanted, and that's what we kind of got, but it was over the course of another fucking hour and a half.
Well,
we need a Layla montage, Marty.
You bring up a good point that there's some. I felt like I was robbed of some action.
Yes,
blood, vengeance, and like Leo and his crew.
Blood catharsis.
Yeah, like his brother didn't get accused of anything.
I really want to, like, if he had some strong guys next to him that were his crew, and these guys are cleaning house and being justified, we would go on his side, and then we'd get our blood catharsis.
Instead, they throw us in some dusty rooms, and we sit there for a long time doing the thing that I was pissed about in The Irishman, which is redundancy. Shit we already know.
Or in Oppenheimer, we get stuck in the Oppenheimer. We get stuck in the Oppenheimer interrogation room. And you don't want this to end in a courtroom or an interrogation room, but
we have both.
You know it's going to both.
We get a lot of talking. A lot of talking scene.
Just little spruce ups. We get a few. Millie and I looked at each other with just childhood glee when we heard the booming voice of John Lithgow. We're like, we turned to each other. We're like, sweat pouring down our faces. We're like, Lithgow, Lithgow.
I had a comical one too, where I was just, it was hot in there. All right, guys, it was hot in there. So I was drifting. I was like, my eyes were rolling back. You put your head in back. So
it was low.
And I got woken up by when the house exploded.
Yeah.
So that everybody was right there, right, waiting for that beat.
Yes.
We got a salad character.
That's right when I thought the movie was like out of steam. I was like, this movie's completely out of steam.
You gonna introduce the salad character?
They blew the hell out of it.
Who's the salad character?
Brendan Fraser.
Hell yes.
I guess I'm just a character.
Did anybody remember that he was in this?
No,
I
it
had
was
no
a
clue. I
total
had no
pleasant
clue.
surprise, and I couldn't help but laugh because I still have some of the residual whale,
of course,
like stink on me. So it felt like it was the character from the whale. Like I could no longer differentiate
whale oil.
these movies.
And his first line explodes, and some of the audience just goes, "What the?
What? So distracted by his thing.
So, May and Milster, what were you feeling during this? Like, take us through your experiences.
I thought the first part of it was good. Like Bishki said, the intro of the whole situation and the courtship was great. And I had the salad dragon.
Are you calling a salad dragon?
The Salad Dragon. A scene in a movie that is so bizarre, baffling, or transcendent that it instantly justifies the price of admission. Or Reese Witherspoon's leafy transformation in A Wrinkle in Time.
When Leonardo's getting punished by old De Niro. Getting paddles.
Greystoke
in a Masonic temple.
Free Masonic temple.
I love that.
I perked up. I really
Such a good scene.
I
was like, what is happening there?
De Niro has him bend over and gets fucking flogged.
Paddle, man.
The movie peaked for me at that point.
that room,
All
you know,
kinds of
isolated.
feelings. I was giggling. I couldn't help. I couldn't keep a straight face.
It had like a checkered floor, and it had the, you know, all the symbols of the High Mason.
Yeah, and the checkered floor was reflecting in De Niro's glasses.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
De Niro
good.
says like, I am the 36th chapter
strong.
of the.
I'm a 32nd
Freemason.
Freemason.
It was kind of cool. Like people were like, woo, you know?
Yeah. It was exciting there.
He would be probably. He is in real life. Probably.
Milster, what were you doing?
You know, I really did like sort of the beginning because it was like setting up this world I had never seen. It was really amazing
And
to
it's
see.
a handsome production.
Yes, and to see like Native Americans in sort of a position of power with like
it's great.
white servants, and like it was
They were,
very.
yeah.
I was like, yeah, I want to see more of this. Like, I want to know more about that world and
Yes.
like how that all the dynamics of that. I mean, that's for a different thing, I guess. But you know, that wasn't this. And I also
This had time for that. It just allocated
totally.
it differently.
Yeah,
There was
they
that
didn't. They
shot
did.
through the house that reminded me of the original Movie Lodge. I just felt like when they were doing that tracking shot through all the rooms,
Yeah,
it
there was a
reminded me of the
spiral.
lodge.
There had to be cuts there, but I really like that. That shot
was
too.
cool.
Nice.
And
That
I
ended on the
thought,
mom, yeah.
you know, as far as the murders were concerned, I don't like a dark-hearted murder like that. But I did feel like it was effective to make you sort of feel like this is fucked up.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And because they could have done it where it was like more like of a murder mystery or something, you know, which I kind of wanted, I confess, but I don't
Right.
feel like that was what was called for. And so I do kind of appreciate how rough these murders were to see because it hit me hard. And I was just like, this is awful.
But if we were
You
more
know?
through her eyes, there
Well, I
could
definitely wanted
there
that.
could have been a little more tension. But we see all the cards laid out, and then they're repeated, and then we know everything about how the one sister got shot down by the crick. And
We don't need to see
We did not need
we
to
get it
see
explained.
that.
We all know who was there.
We get it explained like thrice, and then they flash back and show it. Why? Why?
Just to show the horror of it, I guess.
But
I mean,
I feel like
it was
Marty
not-
was
should have
doing
done that first.
Yeah.
Then Just show
Marty
it
was
first.
doing that in The Irishman, you know, where he'd get real close with the people in the car, and then they just do it all in a master, and you'd shoot them in the living room.
I mean, I
Pop
think
them in the head.
the problem with having it be, and you know, I have a friend who was like up for this actually to write on this, and you know. I think the problem was they definitely talked about having the female, I think, be the main character,
Right.
but she just doesn't do very much.
because she's suffering.
sickly.
Yeah.
I know, and maybe it would have worked with like Lucas's idea of like taking a gaslighting sort of idea, but in
Right.
terms of like how active of a protagonist she is, she's just not very active.
You just got to figure it out.
I know.
though.
I
You gotta
agree.
figure
I
it out.
agree.
Yeah,
agree.
like I wonder what book has, you know, what perspective the book has, and then if this thing gets up nominated for best adapted,
I read that an article that the book was originally adapted by Eric Roth as a straight police procedural.
Oh Jesus!
Like
you could see
David Fincher's
whiffs of
Zodiac.
that.
yeah,
Procedural comes in the
They
second.
were
Thunder
gonna
Hearts.
shoot that version
Thunder
with DiCaprio in the
Bell.
Tom White role, which was the Jesse Plemons role.
Right.
And when they
Ah.
were scouting, COVID hit, shut everything down. They had obviously a year to think about the script, and DiCaprio came over to Marty's house one day and was like, hey man, this seems kind of boring and trite. Like, where's the heart of the story? And Marty was like, the heart of the story is with Ernest and Molly. And DiCaprio was like, well, let's make it about that, and I can play Ernst, and we'll just like make it about that. So they completely like redeveloped the script
Wow.
to like focus on this like love relationship, and they were saying how like these people really, really, truly loved each other. Like it was supposed to be a genuine, legitimate marriage, even though he was like killing her entire family.
Wow.
I think that's where the story is until it becomes procedural in kind of the second half.
Hold on, Lucas, that was such a nutrient-dense dollop of information. I'm going to resurrect LT's bonus features for that, retroactively.
Yeah.
LT's heard some rumors, and they just might be true. Get ready for Lodgecast bonus features, presented by Brother Lucas.
So, yeah, that makes total sense, because when they're all standing out by the oil derricks, like that's when you feel that the Thunderheart of it all, you know, like could have really been a police procedural, which also
I don't want to see
wouldn't have been right at all.
At least we get something
very
more
wrong.
White savior
nuanced.
complex. Yeah.
We get something more nuanced with her performance.
We do,
but I'm just like back and forth on her performance, because I know she is really strong and she comes through stoically,
right?
And I think that is what people are responding to.
There's
But to
almost
have
like
her
a Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct in the early going, where she's like looking through. She can read everything about him immediately, and there's such strength there.
But she still falls for him.
That's the weird part is when she finally
For
gets
that
up.
Alfred E. Newman looking.
When she finally gets up and walks away from him dramatically, when she's like, what was in the insulin you've been giving me?
Oof.
I was like, why didn't that happen an hour ago? Like, what?
Yeah.
What? She's been watching fucking depositions of people being like, these are all the people that killed your whole family. And she's like, he's my husband. I love you. It's like, wait.
Yeah. If they're playing that
let us in on at least what your thought process is.
If it gets to that where it's real intimate, kind of like he's murdering her silently, like that's more interesting. And it didn't go there. It was all over this. It was down the street with those bumbling guys and the botch thing over here.
Yeah, I thought she died like 3 times.
That's just the length. I mean, we got the length is the problem here. 3:25 is a problem.
Yeah, that's a mini series. Anything over 2 hours is a mini series.
It just feels so dense, and it doesn't feel cohesive or tight at all.
May all the deities bless Thelma Schoonmaker for all that she's done, for being Marty's editor for God knows how many years, 100 years.
Raging Bull, I think, right?
She's edited all the greats. What is happening? What is happening here?
I got a feeling it's more Marty's director's cut.
It's got to be.
He's just like, because I think Brother Zach said in the later Marty films, they all could use a little trimming. And
So he's
he's the auteur who gets everything he wants.
Everything he wants.
And
he has no studio to hold him to the fire.
What was the
He's got
budget
no
on this film?
That's what I want to know.
To tell him like,
$500 million.
All those cars, all that.
my
And
God,
it felt
everything.
real. This shit looked real. Like they could have been like tooling around on green screen seesaws for all we know, but it looked fucking real. Like that felt expensive.
It did.
Very much so.
So yeah, you shoot all that. I guess you fill a courtroom. You want to use it. You know? But I was clocking it when I wanted that Layla montage to start when they were rounding up everybody. And that would have been great if it was like old timey Layla sound, you know?
Yeah, I know. We could talk about the music.
I'm like, I thought the music was great, but I was clocking all the different touch points that they hit, you know, where it's like they round up one of the dudes that was the killer and he's like, oh, he said that about me? Get me a pencil. That's like a cool montage moment. There was like 40 minutes that could have been swept up into a nice 10-minute boffo montage. Come on.
Yeah. No, but I did like the music. Robbie
The
Robertson.
music was great.
Robbie Robertson, rest in peace. It was like the psycho killer bass line, like for like a long portion of it.
It felt modern, but it worked with the piece, I think.
That helps with the pace too. Like we got through a lot of long sections that were helped with just that boom boom.
I think we got
keeping
through
it going.
Yeah, we got through at least 2 hours like a breeze. I remember I was like, we're going.
Yeah.
But then it just hit a wall. Hit a bed. Hit a sickly bed.
I think I cursed myself because at a certain point I would love to have video of myself. I leaned back in my seat and shook my head like a proud dad watching his kid play t-ball. I'm like, I'm not going to have to bring up Irishman redundancy at all this time.
No.
Ooh, and then that back third. Oh my God. But it's still a handsome production, you know?
Yeah.
We can't knock it.
And it's still going to get
bad.
and deservedly get nominated for everything.
For everything.
Best actor, Leonardo.
Oh, yeah.
DiCaprio.
But this is another situation where it's like, come Thanksgiving, you're going to have your meal like at, early, late afternoon. And then Dad's going to put on Killers of the Flower Moon.
You guys think of Killers of the Flower Moon.
And
Did you see that yet?
what is VOD going to do to this behemoth? It is going to chop it into like 8 sections.
Was there a fatter cut for Irishman when it streamed? Was there anything like that?
How could there have been?
It was 3 hours.
5 hour cut. 5 hour cut.
Anyway, any other elements that people want to point out here?
Well, I really enjoyed the little coda, the Hollywood kind of theater.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of awkward.
Well, I thought it was better than.
But it condensed it.
It felt like a Wes Anderson like commercial or something, like American Express.
Usually those are just title card, or end.
Well, it was better than having title cards.
Yeah.
Or would you have rather,
they say the
Lucas,
wrap-up.
would you have rather watched the full courtroom proceedings just play out?
No,
because they could have done that.
You could like show the real photos of all these people with like a little bit of on-screen text to make it more powerful. I
That's
thought
what
it
we
was
get.
kind of
That's what we normally get.
like pointless, like to watch the radio play. It just felt like from a different movie or
Yeah,
something.
Jack White was in there.
I thought it was
Right, and like the Edward Herman like surrogate, like
yeah, the Edward Herman is.
Yeah.
I was welcoming of it. I'm just like something different. Thank you.
Yeah, and Marty shows up.
And Marty almost just losing it.
Marty was just Marty was the final speaker to lay it all down, and it's also heralding like the true crime shit that we live in today. You know, it's like kind of showing how the early seeds of that, which is interesting. Which after the horrors that we just saw, watching them just do sound effects and really cheapening it. It's pretty interesting. Because that's what they do now.
Yeah.
I wonder how this is going to hit audiences. I mean, this is total prestige. It's total Oscar bait,
pure.
But your average like film buff and Scorsese fan, I mean,
some of the exit polls coming out of the theater tonight, I heard people being like, "Oh, that was a lot. That was got a little monotonous," But they had that fucking Scorsese dazed look on their face, where they're just like, they fucking did it. They climbed the mountain. So I don't know. Let's find out what the Edge thinks. Let's go to those Flower Moon Buzz. Who gets it? Who gets it tonight? Sister May, you're in the spotlight.
I think I'm always the first to bone.
You are first to bone!
Oh.
First to bone.
For the record, everybody thinks that they're always the first to bone.
I really think every time I'm on, though, I am.
I just can't wait.
It's like first base.
I'm like sacrificial.
Yes.
Yeah, on a ball diamond. All the balls are coming to you.
It was a beautiful film. The production design and the whole world that it built was good. And the story was interesting. I think it was just the runtime really became the killers of my Sunday afternoon.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
It kept my interest. The courtroom drama.
Damn, all movies are
always
going there.
it always kills a movie.
Oh, yeah. What is that?
It's like a reflex,
It's
I hate
the
that.
procedural part of it. You can't.
Even
you
with
have to have
Brendan
the
Fraser,
justice.
just like fucking yelling at the top of his lungs.
So I'm like 2 bones teetering on 2.5.
Whoa. So what? You're officially 2?
I think 2.
2?
Utah, give me 2.
May has set the table. Let's see. Brother Bishki.
Yeah, I think this is quite a bit better than Irishman. That one was just a slog for me for the most part. This one, I was with it for a good 2 hours.
I thought we were going to see another De Niro special curb stomp. From
Yeah.
he got close at that temple.
Yeah, no, I just thought the first 2 hours was masterful. My bones were very high. And I was like, Marty can do no wrong.
Yes.
Greatest living filmmaker. I was just like,
what are you talking about, guys?
No, I thought it was just outstanding in the cinematography was like just every shot. And it was just, I was really knocked out. And then Jesse Plemons shows up and, I was just like, oh yeah, this movie is 3.5. So this is going to go. And it kind of just like you kind of get the whole sense of the kind of hell and the guilt that Leo and De Niro are living in, and you get her perspective on them and sort of the torture that she's going through. You kind of get all that in the first 2 hours.
Right.
And then you just kind of repeat it, kind of go back over each crime that happened. It did lose some bones, but I think it wrapped up nicely with that Hollywood theater or radio on air or whatever. So I'm going to give it 3 strong bones.
3 strong bones.
And it's definitely going to be one of the top of the year for me because it provided a lot. And made me feel guilty, which I should. Feel guilty.
There you go. Fucking flog yourself.
Get that paddle ready.
Let's see. Strategically, I try to mix it up a little bit here. Milster, you are next to Bone.
Nice.
Next to Bone.
I'm next to Bone. So I did really enjoy sort of the beginning part. Again, like I was saying, just the juxtapositions that he was showing, the story that I haven't seen before, which is really riveting and horrifying, and I think is really great. But for me, this thing was rife with problems. I did not connect emotionally. I understand that their love story to me did not hit hard, did not hit right. I felt like to me it was like an actor showing us the pain, but I did not feel the connection of Leo to anybody else. I did not feel it with his wife.
Maybe if we didn't know that he was a fucking bad guy throughout.
No, I don't know that that's what it was.
You don't think so?
No, and I didn't feel like his love for his kid, and I feel like for De Niro, for me, I did not feel De Niro's guilt. And in fact, I feel like this is one of the problems with the writing. I did think that his performance was really good, but I felt like he was portrayed as the bad guy through and through. I always felt like he was the bad guy, and he never seemed like a real human being to me. A real human being does love people, does make friends, which I think is probably true. He probably really was friends with some of these Osage folks, which is why he kept writing letters to them, maybe, who knows. But I didn't see any of that in this film. I felt like, yes, the production value's there. Yes, the story's there. The heart for me was very much missing. I did not connect with this film. And as a result, I have to give it 2.
2 for the Milster.
Give me 2.
Now we're going to go to Nathan, because I think I know what the hothead in the way back is going to do.
He's trying to balance it out. Yeah, I hear everybody's comments on it, and I agree with a lot of it. I think that first 2 hours is really strong and well directed, and it had a pace to it that has. Marty has a pace when he moves through that information, and it's masterful. Where he shows both sides. I thought the oil coming up through the ground, and then it just said everything. And I wish the title had come over that. It was just such a strong image. I'm left with what I felt like kind of was missing, or what was pulled from me. And Millie touched on it with the love story, with her performance, Lily Gladstone. I think she's really strong, and I don't want to knock everything around with her, but I think. For her to be sickly like this and not be proactive was just tough. Man, that was the meat. That anytime she was part of the investigation, or she was taking a proactive thing, and she could have used her money and to see her in that way, was the heart of the film. And something
when she goes to DC and pleads and for some help.
She was scaring all these.
Hires the private detective.
I couldn't help but laugh though when the president was like, "Thank you,
thank you,"
because that's exactly how cool.
And exactly. Man, the cast of the white men in this. We got every white bread actor. I mean, I saw the guy over here. The guy. There was
Sturgill
character
Simpson.
actors. Yeah, there's character actors from No Country for Old Men. Everybody. And Plemons. I mean, he's the king. Of that pumpkin face.
My boy.
And DiCaprio too. He's the top of that Cheshire cat. There he is. And he does play it kind of daft, so I gave him some more concessions, and I saw that he immersed in this bad guy role a little bit more than he does. He's going for it.
Yeah.
But they don't have a connection. And then my last thing that I felt like I was missing was the action. The vigilante. I thought it was going to be a bloodbath. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought maybe more like a Django, where he goes after these men, and he's really got blood on both sides, and that seems more like Scorsese to me. So I don't know why I didn't get that. Why am I missing that?
They're following reality. I guess.
I'm looking ahead of me. I see a transparent 3 Bones. Just because I think it's a really handsome production, and I think there's some good in with the bad.
Does a transparent 3 Bones mean there's a lack of marrow? Or
lack of marrow. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go super hard, thick like Bishki.
Yeah.
I'm looking through them.
You can see through them.
And I'll admit it was hot in there, and I was fading in and out, and it was kind of nice. But every time I came back out of my fade, she was in bed, and he was over there giving her soup or injecting her bruised stomach with insulin. And that's not Oscar buzz for me. I mean, this is going to go against Oppenheimer and Barbie, so we'll see what that's going to look like.
Battle Royale.
My three weak bones. I pass it over to you guys.
All right, 3 transparent weak sickly bones.
It could have been 2.5.
We go all the way to the trunk.
Yes.
To the whacked hothead. High on psilocybin.
We do that Martin Scorsese track.
And the true mood back.
The way back.
Killers of the Flower Moon is Heaven's Gate meets Phantom Thread, and on shrooms, it did not wow me.
Put it on the poster.
Just do your bone count. That's it.
I guess I had higher hopes or expectations going in just from what I had read or had seen, like leading up to it. And I really do feel, they were on the right track, but they should have gone all the way. And made it from Lily Gladstone's point of view, or at least from the point of view of the Osage people.
Yeah.
Yeah, a perspective would really have helped,
and
right?
really kept the DiCaprio and the De Niro character at arm's length, where they come off as genial and avuncular and friendly.
And then bring them in.
And then they find out the truth at the trial. If you're going to have a trial, at least let it be like truth we haven't heard or seen for the last 3 hours.
True.
Preach, hothead.
And there's so many scenes between De Niro and DiCaprio that was like Austin Powers, where it was like, how about no Scott? How about Scott? Settle down, Scott. Scott, settle down. Scott, settle down. No, how about no? I've always back to no Scott.
Making everybody talk that way.
And I was like, what? Why are we watching these guys? These guys are pissed. These guys suck. Like, why do I care? Like, yes, Millie. Like, why do I care?
Because two major actors are getting boners, slapping each other around, and Marty's also got a boner watching them. That's what's happening.
That's it. I mean, and $200 million. Like, I get that.
At least.
20 million went to Marty, 20 million went to DiCaprio, 20 million probably went to De Niro. So that's still 140 million. For the rest of the below the line cast and crew to film, it's probably another 30-40 million for lodging, like all that stuff. So you still have like 100
so
million.
many drive-ons.
Right? And then you have to build everything from scratch. It's just crazy the money spent, because I don't really see it on screen.
It's really outrageous.
Like I just don't see it.
That's the mushrooms in your eyes.
I guess.
Occluding your vision.
And it really should not have been 3.5 hours. You could have told the same exact story
we can all agree on
in
that.
90 minutes or 2 hours. There's like a scene where the FBI shows up to a distillery that's been blown up. And there's like an old timer sitting there with a shotgun, and you think like, oh, it's going to be the most amazing flashback ever. Nope. And then it just cuts to like Sturgill Simpson crash into a tree dead, and then we don't ever know anything again about any of that. And it's like, why didn't we just cut that out, omit that, and we can have like a 3 hour and 15-minute movie instead of 3 hours and 25 or whatever the fuck
it's
it was.
Weird for us to call hey, there's blubber on your film, Marty. It's such a weird, because it is. They could be trimmed.
It's blub. It's
and there was that
blubbery.
insulin scene with DiCaprio that was embarrassing, where he was going, woo! I was like, oh, this is there goes his Oscar. He's not going to win the Oscar now, because this scene
that was the
is
audition
so
scene,
bad. It's so bad. I was cringing at that moment.
What is this doing to your bone count?
So for Lily Gladstone and the Osage people, I give this 1 bone.
Whoa. Nice. That
Lily's sharing a bone.
They got shortchanged again by the white men. They got shortchanged. Like I swear. Like
he's
the best
not
scene,
wrong.
The best scene in the movie, I happen to know was improvised, that they caught randomly, because De Niro at lunch pulled Marty aside and was like, "You got to film this Native American. He's like saying some really interesting shit." And it was that scene where that guy was saying like, "The white man, they're buzzards circling us, pick our bones clean."
Yeah.
That was all off the cuff.
That guy was just having lunch.
Yeah, that wasn't Eric Roth or David Grann or like Scorsese.
I didn't think so.
Shit.
That did feel real.
He felt like he was. Yeah,
I want more of that, please.
Yeah, that's 1 bone from the hothead in the way back. Can't fully argue with him on some of those points. Listen, this is in fact a handsomely mounted production. You can just drink it in. The money is on screen, dear listener. It is.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But I gotta say, it's that back third. And God bless my uncle. When I was making movies in my teens, he watched one of my 20-minute crime thrillers. And he's like, "Do you want advice?" And I said, "Yes."
Oh, yeah.
And he pointed out to me that I had a character moving throughout a house looking for clues. And throughout every room, I'd show him opening the door, entering the room, exiting the room, going back out to the hallway, entering a different room, showing all of the doors opening and closing. He's like, you don't need to do any of that. Just cut to what you want us to see. I know what the house layout is.
Yeah.
That's what this movie is, and that's what you're talking about with the courtroom scene. It's like, show us something new. We're just walking through the hallway in my fucking childhood home, opening doors we've already been in.
Lap, you know?
Like, what are we doing? So it's that redundancy that does flirt with a student filmmaker mentality. Where I'm not gonna. I would not.
Not even.
I would not.
I would not.
I would not declare that.
I would.
But I'm just saying, there's a little whiff of that, and it made me think of it. I'm like, Marty, why are you showing us shit we've known for 3 fucking hours at this point? Just so actors can fucking jack off?
Yes, and he's into that, and they're into that.
Because he
and I
can.
respect that in some ways.
He's set it up. He's made that world.
But if I'm in a hot theater,
I know.
It was hot.
Dude.
That's the real test. Like, if this shit would have been whip cracking smart and I was seeing new shit, I would have been sweating with a smile on.
Right.
But as it is, I can't. It's too handsome to go below 3, but I'm going to piggyback off Nate's transparent fucking bones.
That's the correct one.
That's the correct one. I could read a fucking eye chart through these bones. but there are technically 3 of them.
They're cloudy.
Boy. So
see through.
Hopefully that will keep the controversy at bay.
Yeah, like remember our bone counts going into the Oscars. Okay, we're gonna come back to this and what?
Yeah. But that's it. We made it, guys, and it is 9 p.m.
Not bad.
Started at 3:30 and now,
we're all the way to 9 p.m. What an adventure, guys.
Yeah,
we did it.
Prestige is upon us, and it's going to keep hitting us in waves.
Brother Nate, Sister May, thank you for donating your Sunday to the Lodgecast.
No problem at all.
And Milster, thank you for those tacos, because we steamrolled right through the dinner hour. All the way through. There was no food. So we got a little taco injection.
And LT, thank you for snuggling with Ray Dog. In the back, you got whacked.
Let's release the hothead from the trunk. Love and light, y'all.
Love and light.
I was the one, who could pull in all the stars above. And I gave you my love. You are the one that got me started. You could have let me love anyone, but I only wanted you. So why did it make me cry? You had the keys to the car, you had every star, every one of them twinkling. Baby, what were you thinking? We had the moon in the sky above, and I gave you my love.
Giddy up, partners. Let's go to Scorsese Town.